Deanna Harness is going to be speaking to us, and she is from the American Canyon Conservation and Energy Efficiency, and so she's going to be helping us with maybe saving some bills, PG&E bills, maybe, water bills. And then at the end of November, we have a lady named Yvonne Baginski who wrote a book, Born to Age, and the topic of her speech is going to be How I Want to Live. And I think it has to do with aging gracefully. I know nobody here probably needs it, but it just might be fun. Okay, so
Hey,
it is.
Charlotte,
Yeah.
if you can find a time to schedule me in for one of those when you don't have a speaker, then I can show the tape.
I will. Okay, this is a bio of Kasama Lee, my friend. Kasama's true passion is coaching those who want to achieve greatness. She has been a student, a practitioner, and a mentor of John Maxwell's globally recognized principles since 2008. She's proud to be part of the John Maxwell Founding Partners team as a certified coach. Areas of coaching: success blueprint, creating a vision and mission, public speaking, leadership development, branding you, and effective communication. Her greatest reward is to help guide and be part of the right person or organization's journey so they can achieve the next level of success they want to step out and claim. Success is not just about having money, it's having money and time. It's about serving causes that make a difference in our community, which we care about. Her current coaching client profiles are CEOs of a nonprofit organization, traditional business owners, and sales professionals who are looking to grow their businesses. Kasama is a founder of Mentorship with Kasama Lee, the Leadership Development Institute. She leads, facilitates, and conducts one-on-one coaching and group coaching with clients throughout the United States and Canada. So please help me welcome Kasama Lee.
You know, Charlotte wrote that. Innocent. So this is a fun group. I was feeling the energy. First of all, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I know I have to talk fast. Victor walked in and said, "You got 9.5 minutes." So that's when you know you're with family, right? When they harass you before they say hello. So I feel very at home here. It's my first time really being with the Kiwanis group. I've heard about the Kiwanis through Victor since last year, but I was never recruited. Oh! I didn't even know the Kiwanis
I
was.
just happen to have an application.
Oh, I'm sure you do. But just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a Rotarian. I actually just became a Rotarian earlier this year. I'm a membership chair. You know, our whatever the fiscal year just changed. And one of the reasons, and I looked at Rotary probably a couple of years ago, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to do the leadership stuff, right? And when I walked in this time, I was like, these are the room of people who make a difference. And so I instantly just felt in my gut, without knowing the mission of Rotary, that I wanted to be part of. And I share that with you because I felt the same way when I was sitting here. Watching how you go through the businesses, the little brochure about the kids, which has been a big piece in my heart. I'm sorry. There was a child who just passed away, a 7-year-old at our school, unexpectedly over the weekend. And this is not a way to start any public speaking presentation, right? But it was very emotional because there's a sadness at the school. My 7-year-old, who was in the same class with her last year, was holding the letter because a letter was sent home to everyone. And this morning he said, "Can I just hold the letter?" You know, I was driving to school. And he said, "I just want to hold it." And he was sad, you know. And so you deal with children at different stages of their lives, and it has become a clear purpose for me to work with kids. And I'm going to share that with you in just a little bit. So it's so funny that well, it's not funny. I'm here for a reason. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, do I have your attention?
Yes.
Okay, good. You like me now? Okay. So just a little bit of a background. I have been in a leadership-based industry for the past almost 6 years now. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that things happen in your life for a reason. So I had to become a leader when I was just a regular mom who wanted to have time with my 2 boys and did real estate and all that stuff. And I was trying to figure out a way to be able to have flexibility with my time. So anyway, I got into a leadership-based industry, had to become a leader to lead, right? So I had to learn it hands-on, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with John Maxwell. You familiar with John Maxwell? Okay. He's a worldwide leadership expert. He speaks at foreign governments. He speaks at Fortune 100 companies about leadership. And anything in leadership, you know, everything rises and falls with leadership. Organizations really reflect the benchmark of who the leader is. So it's become sort of my passion is the way I've lived my life now as a parent as well, and the things that I do that I care about. I only do things that I care about now. I mean, you know, life's too short, right? I know I'm much older than you think, right? So I have all this wisdom, but life's too short, and why spend time doing things that don't light you up? So it's been my passion. I've discovered this, that I'm meant to make a difference in people's lives. And it's even become more clear, and through coaching is what it's allowed me to really discover myself. And then now I'm working with kids. And I'm realizing, man, if you can just catch them before, you know, at the seats, right? They're thinking, they're out of the box, the ability to see possibilities before they turn into wild weeds, right? Then you got to correct them, which is what I'm doing with my coaching clients. When you think about it, coaching is about working with professional people that in their 40s and 50s, they're trying to figure out how to get to their greatness, whatever that means to them. So that's what I'm about, okay? So now I'm going to share with you about developing leaders in our communities. I did this talk at our Rotary, and Charlotte actually got to see the tape, and she's like, I'd like for you to come and speak at the Kiwanis, and I'm really honored to be here, so thank you for having me, okay? So a little bit about that. Be the change you want to see in the world. It's one of my favorite phrases, right? You want to make something happen, you become that person. My mentors taught me that long ago, and that's how I came to learn about leadership. It's about, it starts with you, right? If anything's going to change, it's going to start with you. I'm going to talk really fast now because I'm on a clock. According to Victor, now I have 3.5 minutes, right? So why do we need leaders? So now this is where I need your participation so I can feel some love up here so I'm not by myself. Why do we need leaders? Why are we talking about leadership? What's the big deal?
To be a mentor to others.
Absolutely. What else?
Everybody going in the same direction.
Yes. Navigation, right?
To help people to opportunities.
Help people to opportunities that they may not see for themselves.
Well, you have followers, so you need to have leaders.
Somebody's got to lead, right?
Yeah, you have so many people standing around waiting for which way to go and what to
For
do.
life.
So someone's got to step out and say, this is the way we go. And that's the leader.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about that a little bit. Leadership is about influence, isn't it? It's just like what Fran just said. When you have people who follow, somebody has to lead. But if you are somebody who's walking and you look behind you, there's nobody following you. You don't have influence, do you? Right? Because it's a voluntary, leadership is a voluntary thing. Would you agree?
Yeah.
People choose to follow you because of your cause, your vision, or whatever that may be, or who you are. Okay? According to John C. Maxwell, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Leaders are the difference makers. That's who you are. Right? Besides the fact that you like hanging out with each other, right? You're here because you want to make a difference for the kids. They have a clear vision and a passion. What's a passion? What's the definition of passion to you?
Something you feel real strong about.
Burns you inside, doesn't it?
Something you'll stay all night, up all night to make sure.
Oh, she just spoke to me right now. Can you tell I was up? half the night. I was like, I gotta stop waking up at 2:30 in the morning and like start doing stuff that I'm passionate about, and then I'm exhausted by 5 p.m. Like, that is not the working schedule, right? So I told my husband, I think I gotta go to bed earlier, and then I can get up at 2:30 and I'll be okay. I'll work around that.
Not enough hours.
Right? They impact change. They see something and they create change, don't they? They don't just talk about it, they do it. Right? They take actions towards their vision. So here's the thing about vision. A vision is something that it's kind of like, how many of you have a GPS system in your car, or you know what I'm talking about, the GPS, right? Well, you can have the best GPS device in the world, but if you don't have the address, the GPS is going, make a U-turn, because it doesn't know where it's going. Clear vision is everything. When I do coaching with especially leaders of organizations, the vision has to be spelled out, and we work through that until we get clarity, because without that, you can have a herd of people following, but they don't know where it's going, where the organization is going, right? And I just turned, okay. And you can't see either when the screen's turned off. That's not a clear vision either. They influence others toward their vision. That's the leadership piece, right? That's how you communicate. That's how you make it clear why the vision. So you recognize these individuals?
Oh, yeah.
They look familiar, don't they? Right? So who's got a good eyesight that they can read for me? Please don't throw anything at me. That wasn't. I don't want to pick on someone. They're like, I can't see. I didn't bring my glasses. So could you help me read that, please?
Sure, imagine if Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., JFK, Mother Teresa, Steve Jobs, and the likes didn't think their vision alone could make the difference in the world. Imagine if leaders today didn't have enough courage in them to think they can ever make a difference. It takes one person with a clear vision to cause a movement.
Isn't that beautiful? You know who wrote that? I did. I got inspired one moment. I'm like, ooh, that's good. I got to put it on my slide.
Did you memorize it?
Thank you. All right. So, character of a leader. You know, these are the it's a quick summation list. I mean, there's more, right? But it gives you a snapshot of what it takes to be a leader. Somebody who has a vision and a cause, right? A vision usually supports a cause. You don't lead for you. Leaders are not about them, are they? It's about the bigger cause. It's about, that's why you can have a movement when the cause is big enough. You have a passion. And we talked about not sleeping at night, right, Donna? Well, passion to me also is when you would do for free, and you would still do it. Because you can't sleep at night. You have to do it, right? Integrity. You do what you say you're going to do, or don't say it, right? One of the things that I talk about is you'd rather under-promise and over-deliver, right? Because once you over-promise and you don't come through, what happens? That word doesn't even live in next to your name anymore. It's gone, right? Courage. To have courage to do the things that you're afraid of doing, right? Leaders have fears. We all have fears. We're humans. But we keep doing it anyway, even though we're afraid. Discipline. Those are habits, right? We have good ones and we have bad ones. Well, leaders decide they're going to do things. Discipline to me is doing something especially when you don't feel like doing it, but it needs to be done. That's discipline. Would you agree? Right? Determination. You made a decision. You're going to do something. You know, the hardest part for people is making a decision. They can't make a decision, so they don't make the move. But leaders, once they make a decision, now where do I need to go? Right? Left or right? Servant. That's what this room is. Right? You're serving the cause. Ability to recognize ability. And this is so critical, because you cannot keep leading without building people up and recognize the other potential leaders in your organization, right? Because it's really the circle of quality of people that makes a successful organization. It's not one person. One person does not make an organization. Would you agree? Okay. I was going to do a video, but because now I have 30 seconds left, I'm going to skip the video. But it's a video about Steve Jobs talking about passion. It's very. Would you like to see it?
Yes.
Oh.
I like Steve Jobs.
Better ask Victor.
Oh, lady.
All right. I like this group. Let's find it.
They have vision.
But I hope you can hear. Sorry.
People say you have to
Can
have
you
a
hear?
lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. The reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that were successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
Powerful, isn't it? Okay, let me see how I go back to this thing now. Sorry. I'm sure there's a quicker way to do it. I haven't figured it out yet. Sorry.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. One-man show, right? Challenges of a leader. The first victory is the victory over self. Leadership is leading ourselves first. We're the hardest people to lead. We fight ourselves, don't we? That inner voice. So, mastering, when we talk about leadership, and when I talk about leadership and coaching and teaching, it's really getting you to be the person worth following, right? It's leading you first. You need to be that prime example for people to want to follow. You can only lead if you know how to follow first, right? You don't start out as a leader. You actually have to know how to follow. How to, my best way. The door has to be able to fit the size of your head, right? Get the ego out of the way. And I think, when you think about the true leaders, the pictures of the individuals that you saw in the other slide, right? The Gandhi, the Steve Jobs, they're not about ego, are they? Actually, the true leaders are the most humble people. Because it's not about them. It was never about them, right? Tom, my reader. What does that say, please?
Oh,
Tom, are you wearing somebody else's badge?
well, Pop says a visionary sees light in the dark. And
Yes.
Good.
Right?
The
Isn't that
rest-
what a visionary is?
Sure. Could be.
Sometimes they're the only one who can see the light in the dark. Because everybody else says it's darkness. What is your vision? What is your vision of what the Kiwanis is doing? Or maybe your personal vision, whatever that may be. Okay? And so my passion is, I can talk about this all day. Let's identify and develop leaders one community at a time. This world needs more leaders, would you agree? We can't live like this. Right? The school system is not what it used to be. I was just at the school, and I got involved with the school. It's so funny. My kids have been in school, and I was never this involved because my heart is in it. Like, I just talked to the principal of Donaldson Way this morning, and I said, whatever that I can do to work with the staff, the coaching, talking to the parents, educating them about bullying, whatever. Okay? If I need to go learn it, I'll come teach it. She's like, it's on. Just put my name on the board, right? So here's the thing, get clear on your vision. We just talked about that, right? Get clear on your vision and share it with the world. Share it with your community, share it with anybody who is willing to keep their ears open to hear you. So once I got clear on my vision, and I want to share this with you before I show you the rest of this, I knew that I had to work with kids. I was invited, actually, I gave the similar presentation in the summer of this year. And I had just come back from a youth camp, and I spoke to the counselors. I was invited to speak to them. And I didn't know why I was invited there. It was a church member who invited me. And then I realized they had never done, they were never leaders before. They were never camp counselors. They volunteered to become leaders. And so I had a workshop with them. And it just hit me that this is the group, the age group that I need to be talking to. They don't have filters. They don't have ego. They want to make a difference. They don't have the baggage that most of us do, right? So once I got clear with that, it became more and more clear to me that I needed to be working with kids, but I didn't know what format. I had no clue. I had the destination. Remember the GPS story? I'm like, okay, now let me get a GPS. So I ended up talking to, you know, Roderick Sweeney, right? Of all places, never talked to him before. He's a mutual friend of Victor. We were at the 4th of July out in the field, and we just started talking. And it was like, you know, some people you just start connecting and you feel like you know each other. And he started telling me about the position that Pastor P.D. Kim just took on, which is the program coordinator, teens program coordinator. And I was not looking for a job, trust me. I got more than I could handle as it was. And as he was like, you know, it's so sad. He just took on this role and the youth, and I just looked at him and I stopped him and I said, can I have that job? And he stopped and he looked at me and he goes, do you want the job? Yeah. And I said, I think I do. Can you tell me more about it, right? It was crazy. I spoke out of nothing, right? So 3 meetings later, I just took on the role as I created a program called Teens in Leadership through the city. We're actually rolling out, and I would love to talk to you more about this because we went to the high school, talked to the leadership group. We just went to the middle school, talked to the leadership group, and now we're going to do the mentoring and coaching downwards to the elementary school kids. I never worked with kids before in my life, except for my own kids, right? So I'm doing all this, and I'm so excited, and we're jacked out of our mind with the energy that we're getting from the kids. A bunch of kids signed up for this, right? So now, because of City of American Canyon, my involvement with it, we started the Youth in Action program. And the Teens in Leadership, which is under that umbrella, we're going to have mentoring program, Bridging the Gap, which is the kids working with the seniors at the multi-use center, teaching them how to work the cell phones and the computers and all that stuff. There's another program coordinator who handles that. I'm going to just be doing leadership workshops with them every Tuesday afternoon, coaching them, okay? Bright Shadows, we just came out with that name, which is like a big brother, big sister, little sister, but we're not allowed to call that, so we call it Bright Shadows, okay? So this is my vision, and I'm sharing this with you because I've learned from my life experience that if I just keep speaking into it, it shows up. And so my vision is to have a Youth Max program, which is a program, actually, it's a curriculum through John Maxwell that has specifically to do with kids. It's a free program. Earlier this year was in May. It was held around the world. His books are translated in like 40 different languages, okay? So it's a program, and these are the topics: stand up and be counted, personal character, positive self-image, failing forward to success. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm going to do it. And we have some certified coaches in Northern California, so we're going to collaborate. But I know that this is part of the things that I'm made to do. And you know, with the bullying issues that are going on right now, and the school system that is desperate for the education and the voluntary work and all that stuff, the parenting, you know, involvement and all of that, I'm all about this. This is the kind of stuff that makes a difference to me, that keeps me up at night, okay? And so I feel like all this, the coaching and all this other stuff that I've done has prepared me to be doing this with courage. Not the know-how, but with the courage. So I wanted to share that with you, and I want to thank you for having me here. I know I went a little over, but it's an honor for me to be here. And I got a big smile from Victor, so I think I'm okay. And you know, I would love to somehow work in collaboration with all of you in some way, because your heart is about the kids, and I think that it's important that we we come together and we can do a lot more together if we have the same mission. And thank you so much, Joan, for doing that. If you don't mind, I'm passing out the information. If you could fill that out for me, because every time I speak, it helps me to know if they're, what you got from it, first of all, because it helps me to know if what I'm doing is helping. And secondly, if you know of other, organizations or churches or different groups that I should be speaking to, and I just want to make a difference. And I think that's what you want too. So thank you very much, Kiwanis. I really appreciate you.